A 1,200-year-old tomb in Panama was fully excavated in 2026. One figure laid flat, covered in gold. Breastplates, bracelets, earrings, all positioned with evident order. The goldwork alone was enough to reopen long-settled questions about this region, but it was what was engraved on those breastplates, and where identical symbols have been found since, that researchers are still working to explain. El Caño is a pre-Columbian funerary complex located approximately 200 kilometers southwest of Panama City. The site spans several hectares of excavated earth, carved stone columns, and burial mounds, and has been under systematic investigation since 2008 under the direction of archaeologist Julia Mayo. The tomb designated Tomb 3 was first detected in 2009 through an unusual concentration of ceramic and metal fragments clustered around one of the site's earthen mounds. Full excavation began more than a decade later and was completed in early 2026. What the excavation revealed was a multiple simultaneous burial. One principal individual laid out flat, surrounded by several accompanying figures arranged around the perimeter. This configuration, one central individual, others positioned around them, appears in every elite tomb opened at El Caño. Its consistency across multiple burial cycles indicates not a local custom but a formalized system of interment that persisted across generations. The central figure in Tomb 3 was interred with 2 gold pectorals decorated with bat and crocodile motifs, 2 gold bracelets, 2 gold earrings, and a set of painted ceramic vessels arranged around the body. Julia Mayo, who has directed excavations at this site for over 20 years, described it plainly. The person with the gold is the highest status person in the group. The objects are not ornamental in any incidental sense. They are rank markers, a declaration of authority cast in metal and placed on a body sealed underground for 12 centuries. When Panama's Ministry of Culture issued its official announcement in February 2026, they described the find as one of the most significant contributions to the study of pre-Hispanic societies in the Central American Isthmus in recent decades. That characterization from a government institution carries a specific weight. The presence of gold alone does not explain it. What explains it is the production timeline behind the objects and what that timeline reveals about the people who made them. According to the Metropolitan Museum of Art, the earliest confirmed evidence of metallurgy in Panama dates to approximately the 2nd or 3rd century AD. The craftsmen responsible for the objects in Tomb 3 were working around AD 800 to 1000. The interval between the first documented metalwork in the region and the production of a precisely formed, iconographically layered gold breastplate is roughly 600 to 700 years. The Gran Cocle, the culture centered on El Caño, and the wider Cocle province left no written records. What survives is entirely physical. Patterned ceramics, carved basalt columns, and burial goods whose technical sophistication has consistently exceeded expectations. The goldsmiths who produced the Tomb 3 pectorals were not working at the beginning of a tradition. They were working at its peak. The burial record at El Caño documents a society with centralized political authority, specialized craft production, and a funerary protocol so consistent that the same structural layout appears in tombs separated by 2 centuries. That degree of institutional continuity, the same sacred ground, the same symbolic vocabulary, the same spatial logic, does not emerge from a loosely organized community. It requires an administrative framework capable of reproducing itself across multiple generations of leadership. At the nearby site of Sitio Conte, excavated earlier in the 20th century, researchers recovered gold objects stylistically consistent with those at El Caño, alongside earrings made from sperm whale teeth plated in gold. Sperm whales are deep ocean animals. Their teeth reaching an inland burial mound document maritime exchange routes operating in the Pacific. Routes that fed prestige materials back into the political economy of the interior. These were not isolated settlements. They were nodes in a functioning regional network, one that operated for centuries without appearing in any European account because European contact came after its decline was already underway. The tombs at El Caño were in continuous use for approximately 200 years. A site used by successive ruling figures across that span is not functioning as a cemetery. It is functioning as a political institution, a place that conferred legitimacy on dynasties by placing their dead within an established sacred order. 10 tombs have been fully excavated. Approximately 20 remain sealed beneath the site. The bat on that breastplate is not incidental decoration. Across pre-Columbian cultures in Central America, cultures separated by significant geographic distance and, according to the current model, without documented contact, the bat appears consistently in association with the underworld, with authority over the threshold between death and whatever follows it. The individual in Tomb 3 was interred wearing that symbol on their chest. Whether that represents a theological statement or a political claim, or both simultaneously, is a question the physical record raises without answering directly. If you're new to the channel and appreciate this type of evidence-based historical research, please consider subscribing. It's the most effective way to support our work and helps YouTube understand that content focusing on raw data and historical mysteries deserves a wider audience. The wider comparison is where the analysis becomes more difficult to close. The Grand Cocle did not develop in isolation. Their trade network reached the Pacific. Their symbolic vocabulary carries measurable overlap with traditions documented to the north and south. Overlap that researchers have attributed to parallel development, shared psychological tendencies, or convergent responses to similar environmental conditions. Those explanations are methodologically sound. They may be correct. They also assume that the full extent of contact between ancient peoples in this region has already been established, and the excavation history of El Caño itself offers a reason for caution on that point. The site was first noted in 1925. It was not systematically investigated for nearly 80 years. The tombs opened since 2008 have each required revision of the prior interpretive framework. 20 chambers remain. What they contain will either confirm the current understanding of Grand Cocle society or it will extend the argument further, in which case the questions being asked now will need to be asked again with new evidence in hand. Before this excavation cycle, Panama's pre-Columbian societies occupied a marginal position in most regional histories, treated primarily as a geographic corridor between the Maya to the north and the Inca to the south. The material record from El Caño does not support that framing. A society capable of sustaining a dynastic burial institution for 2 centuries, of sourcing deep ocean materials through Pacific trade, and of producing gold work at this level of precision was not peripheral to the ancient Americas. It was operating by its own logic, on its own terms, at a scale that the historical record has underrepresented until now. The 20 unopened tombs are the most direct remaining evidence of what that logic actually was. What do you think is in them? And if the symbolic connections between these cultures reflect something more systematic than parallel development, what does that suggest about the trade and communication networks of pre-Columbian Central America that have not yet been fully mapped? Leave your thoughts below. If you want to know about finds like this one, sites that exist in the research long before they reach any wider account, the subscribe button is below this video.